welcome here Bruno Pavić, the director of the film Landscape Zero, shot in Southern Europe in totally, let's say, different view than most of people probably know this place where they go. Majority of people go there for holidays, etc. And we are confronted with also different dimension and different places and different images than it's usual. Welcome at this debate with the viewers, and I'm also addressing the viewers. If you have questions watching online, do not hesitate to raise your electronic hand, and I can put you into the debate or write into Q&A. If you are watching this debate later, of course, you cannot interfere with it, but you can listen. And let's go to the film itself. Maybe can we start a little bit with wider context? Your interest is not only cinema, but intermedia and let's say installation art and other forms of audiovisual arts. Can you describe why you chose for your theme just cinematic expression, and what was preceding?
Yes. Good evening. Well, that's true. I actually studied at Split Art Academy, which is film and video. Also, in first 3 years, we were making a lot of, also narrative films, experimental films, video installations, animations. So I have experience through all these kind of visual arts, but my personal approach to every, let's say, film work is, if possible, to tell visually, or not to tell the story in some classical way. I always try to investigate some other forms or other kind of way to show something. Well, this film is told visually, as you said. I choose this way because personally I'm always thinking visually. From when I started as an amateur filmmaking when I was 16, and I was at the beginning, let's say, lack of this kind of telling story in a narrative way, dramaturgy. I was from the start thinking always visually. So this is my kind of expression, let's say. So when I had this topic was very interesting to me because I live in the city of Split, which is surrounded with this polluted area. We are watching this polluted area. It's only 2 kilometers from this antique center of Split, and tourists are here. That's true, but also domestic people don't care about this problem very much. For example, you have an asbestos factory, which is not properly sanited. And I don't know, I think more serious countries, developed countries will make a quarantine and make this asbestos treated much better. But here in this area, this is some kind of taboo, let's say, and the people don't care about this. It's just 2 kilometers far away from them. Let's say the center of the city. And so I had this topic, which was really interesting to me. But I didn't want to make let's just say a classical activistic film, because it was also this kind of topic looks like it's another ecology film. Another I tried to find. I was developing this script, this making investigations. 2 years through Ex-Oriente Film Workshop during this period, making shots, making scenes, and I was looking for image to show this story to be understandable, but just observing people who live there, actually, how do they live. So I had to find characters who live around certain factories. There are several factories or landfill also, and I had to find people who live near factory in this community with this factory, let's say. And so my idea was just to show a life of those people, nothing else. So what's going on there? I was when I shooted the first materials during development, I was just like observer, and I saw this this whole reality looks a little bit surreal. So I saw this potential to why waste let's say waste the film to show just the journalistic approach, or we have something more here, which we have image. So I don't know. This is my approach visually. That tells the story visually. So it was very difficult to maybe it was let's say many people were skeptical. How will you tell this visually and at the same time understandable? So I made a script in the way just I had 4 characters. Every character is dedicated to one factory, and it has to be clear who is he, what is he doing. Every character has a beginning, middle, and the end. And during the film, we have a parallel showing of those characters. So it was like scenaristic construction to make this understandable visually. What is he doing? What is he watching? How does he end? And I think in the end, yes, that was the final result.
It's interesting that, as you say, this kind of dramaturgical concept,
Yes.
then it oscillates really between something which one can think even as if it's something staged, like even the exposition that you have this man in a special suit, which first when I saw it, I thought it's a kind of COVID film. It's going to be COVID film, but then of course this special suit is associated more with the pollution and these kind of things. And so you were combining also this, let's say, a little bit staged elements of more like a creating live images with pure observation. These kind of two. Can you say a little bit about the method and how was the composition? Was it probably made in the editing in the end?
Yes, stage elements are made not just like completely fake. Let's say it's a result of observing. For example, you have this scene, wedding couple, and we see they are making photo shooting, and behind them is factory. For example, this is the real scene which we count them actually, but for final film in the development process. But in the final version, we had to stage this to make it more because we had another camera, bait camera at the time of documenting this situation. For example, this is one situation of stage. Second, I have to say that film has layers. One layer are characters. Second layer are observational elements. For example, swimmers are on beaches. This beach, their factory is realistic. This stage scene which I described you right now is actually part of this observation, but it's staged. But you don't know if it's staged or not. Maybe it looks like stage. But and third layer are actually performance. So performances are performances. This is the result of my experiences from my film academy, which I told you we were making performance installations. So I was thinking to make how to make more like to say is give more image, more to show more something, more expression. My idea was to make an open call for several performances. I choose them because they are my colleagues from the city of Split, from academy. Some professors gave me recommendation who is a young talent, who could be a good performer for this. And I gave them freedom to make something what they want on a specific location, factory. They had the freedom to make whatever they want. So my concept was to give them the freedom, but actually idea was not just to make documentation of performance. I wanted to adapt it to visual style of film. So everything is adapted to observational style. Even these character sequences, performance sequences. So I directed those performances. So it's not just documentation. So those characters, they're like characters, and the idea was to there wasn't a script. Idea was to put them between sequences, because we have one character, another character, third character, and observational sequence. And idea was to make the connections of scenes and sequences like flow. To jump from another location, one location to another, and performances are just between those sequences, like some kind. In editing process, it was a concept in editing process. Experiment how do they fit, and not every performer is not in the film, in the final version, of course. It's just what fits and how long should it be. This was written, this was the expression of some location. For example, we have this woman in black performer. She was painted with oil in this factory. This is the same factory where we have this character. He's keeping goats there, like a shepherd. This is the same factory. And I put this performance before the beginning of this character, introduction of this character, so to make a connection of these locations. But also it was very important to make it fits dramaturgically, yes, and like it has a sense, some kind of sense, not just she's there and itself. Yeah. So they are completely staged, of course, and so observational sequences are mostly not staged. But when we talk about characters, all characters, we have 4 characters. 3 of them are, like I said, actors, because I found really good characters, good stories of this guy who is dying of asbestos cancer, this guy who is activist and he's fighting against this factory, which is like monument there, this soldier, and this family, father with kids, he lives around near landfill, nature there. So they didn't want to be in film, like involved. And maybe this is good idea to also, not just because of this, they didn't want, because it was a good idea to make a casting, to make someone who is like actor can give more expression. So I made the audition. But they gave me their space, their house, their story, completely everything. But I just had to put actor in there, like he acts his life, and observing how does he live based on this story of this character. So this guy is activist. What is he doing? Actor is doing that. We are shooting way of his living. He's dying. Okay, this dying of asbestos cancer is lung cancer is a little bit staged, like a fiction element. Yes, but it's showing actually how it is. And yes, this is one character. This soldier, he is a real character. He's not actor actually. But it was very difficult to give because in the beginning it looked like he doesn't want to be in the film. He gave us interviews. It was very difficult for him to open. But in the end, it was surprised. He took this gun and acted with this gun. He's a soldier. Like this gun was visual expression. Because he fights against, in reality, he fights against those factories in activistic way. He make protests but he's alone. Because all area, everything is corrupted, political corruption. People are scared because tourism. Yes, we don't want to say nothing, to be silent. But he doesn't want to. He's only one guy, activist, and I choose to make this expression through this gun. How visually fight? How does he fight? How to show visually that he fights against those factories. It was the idea, but actually he knows he's a soldier. So these guns have a sense in this way of his personality, because when he talks about his fights, he always says, I was fighting for democracy in Croatian homeland war in 90s. I was fighting for freedom of speech to fight against, but Croatian people do not have a democratic state of mind of democracy. I am always alone. So I connected his personality as a soldier and visually moment with this gun, yes, to fight, to show fighting against those factories. Yes. So that's.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really.
Yes.
Because these layers have very different nature, and in the end, of course we can feel this different nature, but still it's quite compact. Yeah. If I speak for the layer of reality, as I said, it's very for people maybe from abroad, it's very surprising of image of Croatia. Yeah, I would say it's really something very, very unusual, and at the same time, we see that the people around this factory, which is like a central element, seem to be adopted for that. Doesn't seem to have kind of a problem to I don't know, to bath and to swim around and let's say kind of to cohabit with this environment. Are there kind of real visible impacts of these side effects of this asbest production for the people which are scary, or which are more people aware, or the general awareness is really very low and only a few people have kind of
Yes, this is a very good question. We can see that people are swimming near the factories. There's asbestos in the air. They are swimming. No reaction. It was experiment. I put a doctor to make this, to put this paper with asbestos in the air, and I was like heuristic observing. It was heuristic observing how do they react. They don't react. There is this man who is thinking about this. It was a very good moment to because it's some kind of absurd. They're the consciousness. They're aware of those. This everything was going on there, but they don't care. I think they're just swimming there. They're proud. They have a sea, the beach near the house. But a few, I don't know, a week ago, in this particular place with this asbest is in the air, they made citizens made a protest. Yes, air is polluted, the sea is polluted. But when the summer comes, they will swimming again. So. This is some kind of surrealistic for me, absurd. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to show this. This is not staged at all. So I was catching these moments with camera traveling around this bay where everything's going on to show real people. They are swimming there. And yes, it's how to say this one guy who is fighting against. He wants to tell people here is asbestos. It's a dangerous place, but he's completely alone. And this is the reality. This guy, in reality, he's an activist. He's fighting 10, 20 years, but politics don't care. Local people are also denying. For example, he has lung cancer because this particular little place, people are dying. 50 people yearly are dying from asbestos. But most of them are telling, yes, I'm dying, but it's not asbestos I'm smoking, or he's completely because he has nostalgia. When factory work, he was worker there, and maybe this kind of mentality. I don't know, but this was very interesting to me. Yes, I didn't have to stage very much for this observation.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting also to see that From outside, from the point, like let's say outsider point, I would say that tourism is such a high priority for Croatia because it brings maybe 60% of GDP. That
yes.
And such a thing can really kind of even threaten it. Or
yes, well, when we were shooting the film, the one woman who gave us also her house location, but she was very afraid when we told her that this film will be showed internationally in festival. No, don't show to them. You will destroy our tourism, because she is renting apartment near the factory, near 5-10 meters per factory, and this factory is very, very, very dangerous, polluted. But she made apartment there. But same time, she's suffering from this situation. But she adopted. So those people, they adopted. At the same time, they are victims. They're victims, but they are using how to say. I don't know how to say that. It's very, very, I don't know, unique situation. And just this is little area, and just as I said in the beginning, 2 kilometers far away from this area is a center of Split, antique center, Emperor Diocletian. Tourists don't know anything what's going on here, and also people in the city of Split are suffering from some problems from this pollution from air from this area, and everything is affected to the city, directly to the city. Yes. So, yeah.
Maybe I am still sticking too much about digging around reality of it, but as there is no, maybe it's interesting also for the viewers to know more. But once there is no kind of explanation in the film, it works more with images themselves. But is the factory run by the state, or is the factory, for example, employing so many people? Because we see in some areas, even in Europe, or not speaking about, let's say, third world countries, that there is a strong cohabitance, for example, with mining and very dirty kind of production, which still people are kind of admitting because it offers them, let's say, continual work. Or what is the reason for support?
In the end, I think that's the point, maybe, because if you notice this sequence in the scene in the cinema, when I showed, I think it's only scene which is not silent. We have speech from ex-communistic dictator Tito, Yugoslavian, who is talking about workers, factories, buildings. And those people, we have this situation that many people are at the same time nostalgic to these factories because they work. And today those factories are closed, devastated. For example, where this guy is Shepherd, this factory is closed. And this factory where we see swimmers opposite of them, this swimming couple, is still working, for example, but it's some kind of Mexican corporation, I don't know, garbage mafia there. It's some complex story, but also people work there in Yugoslavia. Landfill is built also in that time. Today is they didn't plan very good for 50 years, so people are affected. So yes, this state of mind, nostalgia to these factories, also gives them some perception of this ideal image of those factories. Yes, maybe this is for some people reason why they, for them, is that not maybe problem, because we had work today, everything is destroyed, and yes, they can. So I wanted to show with this sequence in cinema this state of mind. Some people, they are watching these factories, are clapping, enjoying, to show visually what many people here are talking every day. Yes, we had work, we had job. But I always say, for me, is the most important health, or maybe to be alive, more than to have job. But I think they had a job, maybe they worked in this, had been working in this factory for, I don't know, 30, 40 years, and today they have lung cancer. So I open question, what's more important? We see people suffering there, people is dying, and we see people are enjoying watching these factories, this smoke, but actually how it is. So I showed this visual, I showed these two sides, let's say. I put this cinema in the middle of film to explain this state of mind of some people in this area. So that's true. It was their question.
Yeah, it's interesting to because we both come from this, let's say, countries which went through transformation after getting rid of communism, and all. I think most of these countries in Central Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, went through kind of one-sided development. In Croatia, it's maybe one-sided towards tourism. In Czech Republic, for example, it's one-sided towards car production, for example, and it's always something, and maybe these reminders of all, let's say, older forms of industry are not being replaced by something newer and cleaner, more sophisticated, which would offer people the same. How do you see this, for example, for your country? What kind of perspective, for example, do you see some perspectives for people of older generation to get better opportunities, except of tourism or except of these old forms of industry?
Well, it's very open question. I think I showed it at the end of the film. What's the perspective of the factories? I put these migrants, since migrants, they're coming there and sleeping there. I took this idea from, I saw in Serbia is happening this, that migrants is sleeping in factories. It was idea of one person here to make like to say apartments for migrants in the place where is factory, for example, and what to do with those factories who are closed? What's the future? In the end, we see sanated landfill, for example, and film ends with this landfill, which is sanated. Actually, we shoot at this. I just tried to open this question. What was the perspective? And one more thing I had to say that was what is specific about this area is that in Yugoslavia they were building those factories on the coast of the sea, and it was very. I think this is specific. I don't know other countries, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, of Eastern Europe, but this is very destruction of coast. We had, for example, where is this largest factory? We can see it was the most beautiful beach on the Adriatic Sea, for example, that place. But communists didn't think about this. Just propaganda, industry, and they destroyed very good place for make better tourism for. So it was some kind of, but still there is tourism there today. There are local people trying to combine tourism and those factories. Like they're acting like factories don't exist. Problems are not here, but problems are here actually still. So, but just tourism is covering those problems. Yeah. So this is the idea. Yeah.
I am addressing potential viewers online. If you would have some questions, you can raise your hand or write into Q&A. We are discussing Landscape Zero film from Croatia with its director Bruno Pavić. And yes, so it's just to call to remind. And still, do you have already some? Have you seen have you shown the film already in Croatia in some wider context, or you are just now? I think it's a world premiere now in.
Yes, it's world premiere. Yes.
So it was not shown anywhere. So it's still.
Still yes. Here, maybe in Croatia we are planning to show after summer, after Croatian festival maybe. So you have to be patient, but it will be interesting to see reactions, especially people from this area and from Croatians. So for now, just yes, this is world premiere. This is first showing public.
Okay. We are coming into, we are supposed to be something between 30 and 40 minutes to debate. Was this work for you somehow forming in terms that you want to continue with cinema as a tool for next themes, or?
I mean, for next films, like in this kind of way. Yes, I'm thinking about this, but it depends on the idea always. I think because I have in my filmography have very various type of. For example, my first film was classical, my diploma film, feature classical fiction, the drama.
Mm-hmm.
I just forgot everything I was working visually, installations. I just wanted to make dialogues. So this is my first, like I wanted to experiment with this. My next film was, this film is like visually hybrid, let's say. This was released 1 month for 30 minutes footage film, also anthropological with a documentary essay. So I'm very interested in the various types of but this kind of visual approach is my personal, let's say, I like it mostly showing. So I'm thinking about this type to develop this hybrid type of film, and also to tell the visually and maybe improve some things which I see it could be better, maybe, or I don't know. So that's why I like to hear maybe reactions to what works, what doesn't work, is understandable, not what to make with characters, what are when you're showing this visually, is it successful, not successful, how much is successful. So it's interesting to me to develop this kind of type of style. I'm thinking about this. Now I have a couple of ideas, and which is maybe good to this style is maybe good for these ideas. So I will see. I would like to continue develop this kind of visual style and hybrid also, which I like very much.
Maybe the last contextual questions. You come from Split. Also, your film is focused. However, it deals with the global issue, but it's rooted locally. How is it in Croatia? There is a center like Zagreb. Are there other centers of film production like in Split? You were talking about quite fruitful environment, maybe around the school. And are there some productions? And do you work there, or more and more you are basically naturally attached to Zagreb and its film environment?
Yes. Well, you mean about environment specifically, or?
No. I mean more like the film industry.
Film industry. Yes.
If there are more centers in Croatia.
Yes. There is Zagreb was always center. I think I don't know, but it's maybe how it's other countries. But yes, Zagreb is the largest, strongest center. But city of Split is the second largest city of Croatia, of course. And Split is becoming maybe second center now in last few years. Many films are shooting there, and production, many people, producer, directors, and it's not still like we have two centers. I think it's not possible, but it's people are aware that Split should be more involved in maybe. We have also one film academy, Zagreb Film Academy Split. Now is this Croatian Audiovisual Center is started to give financing for student films from Split Academy, for example. We have this development production section started at this academy also. But still Zagreb is center, of course.
But it's interesting to hear that, because I think for every country it's mutually challenging if there are more kind of centers competing then, and it's a challenge. So
in Croatia everything is like this. Zagreb is center, right? Everything is a little bit devastated. Let's say a little bit devastated part of Croatia in financing and everything.
I can imagine. Okay. I wish you, I thank you for the debate after the film, and I wish you good luck with your next project. And thank you for joining this debate, and we are in the end. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for questions, and
yeah, goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.